breaking news for you.
The warm weather comes.
I hit the street.
Earning a triple crown of 3 golden medals.
Can you get me a gym time?
And now let's take a look at our COVID dashboard.
For NDTV, I'm Abby Urban.
Good morning and welcome to ND Sunrise. I'm Abby Urban, here to give you all the latest on all things Notre Dame. Last week, we reported on tightening university restrictions. This week, some of those restrictions were loosened, allowing for more student activity. In a few minutes, we'll hear from Anthony Rio, who spoke with students about how these changes will affect them. But first, let's take a look at our COVID dashboard. Yesterday, there was a report of 22 cases, adding to the semester total of 941. 787 of those cases are attributed to undergraduate students. This means that nearly 10% of undergrads have tested positive for COVID this semester. In response to rising case numbers earlier in the year, the university tightened restrictions on student life. 2 days ago, some of those restrictions loosened. Anthony Rio has the latest on these changes.
This past Friday, the Division of Student Affairs released an email to students with the subject line, Expansion of Student Activities. This email allows students to meet in person in a variety of locations for organized student clubs and organizations. I hit the street to figure out exactly how this decision might impact students.
Well, I mean, I do class here every 3 days a week, and not having full capacity kind of sucks because having to find spots was a lot harder, but now that it's opened up a little bit, that helps.
The email, which came from Aaron Hoffman Harding and Mike Seaman, enables student groups and organizations to meet in person under certain conditions. Specifically, conditions where university staff or student managers can ensure health and safety protocols are being followed.
And we're planning the review right now, and this being lifted, what helps us do skit tryouts this upcoming weekend. We were worried we weren't going to be able to do that in person, but now we can. So it definitely helps a lot.
Some new opportunities available for student groups will be that they can now reserve outdoor space for programs and events, or indoor space in places like the Duncan Student Center and La Fortune.
I'm happy that Notre Dame's allowing people to meet in person now too. I feel like the restrictions being lifted is just going to help students' mental health for sure.
While students are excited about these updates, some organizations that work with off-campus groups are still hindered by pandemic conditions.
One group I'm a part of is this tutoring group called Upward Bound, and this will have no effect on it just because our tutoring will be virtual throughout the entire year.
Seating in Duncan Student Center, La Fortune, North and South Quad Lodges has also been restored to previous capacities. Finally, some students say that they're excited about these updates, but they'd like to see more restrictions lifted on the horizon.
I'm just happy to see that they're continuing sending emails and being a little bit more transparent about what they're doing and the rules and trying to communicate a little bit better, so I think that's great.
I'm glad that things are lifting a little bit. I'm not happy that we still can't have people in the dorms because I don't think that people are getting COVID from going over to some other dorm's basement and doing homework.
It's good to see that finally student groups can meet in person again. For NDTV, I'm Anthony Rio.
Thank you, Anthony, and I hope that those restrictions are continue to be lifted so that we can really get back to some semblance of normalcy here on campus. Anthony's segment is a great reminder that we should be doing our best to follow COVID protocols on campus, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun while following the rules. Here are some of the many events happening this week. Today at 7:30 p.m., students are invited to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, a 2004 film starring Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey. The screening will be held in the Browning Cinema, and tickets are limited. Visit performingarts.nd.edu to reserve your spot for this installment of Week ND Flicks. And in this difficult time, we know many people are curious about the COVID-19 vaccine and its upcoming effects on the world. If this topic interests you, make sure to register for the panel discussion entitled The COVID Vaccine, Good Science and Science for the Human Good. This Zoom discussion will be hosted by the McGrath Institute for Church Life on Saturday, March 13th from 3 to 4 p.m. Visit mcgrath.nd.edu/COVID vaccine to register. Also, did you know that it's Women's History Month? I actually didn't until a few days ago. To celebrate, consider joining the Gender Relations Center for their Women's Her Story Month Trivia and Paint Night at the Midfield Commons. Students can pick up supplies and participate in trivia from 8 to 11 p.m. on Friday, March 12th. Today is the last day to register for the event, so please visit grc.nd.edu/events to join in on the fun. If you would like to find out about any other events happening this week, you can visit here.nd.edu/student/events. Last week, we updated you on the results of the student body elections. Now we have a follow-up. Cesar Sanchez spoke to our new president and vice president-elect about their vision for this upcoming year in student government. Cesar, take it away.
Hello, ND Sunrise. I am Cesar Sanchez, and here I am today with two very, very great guests. I have Allan Njomo, who is the president-elect of the student body, and I have Matthew Bisner, who is the vice president-elect of the student body.
Maddie is the one who actually approached me in late October and asked if have I ever considered ever running for student body president. And to be honest with you, my answer was no. I'd never considered such a thing. But through, speaking with a lot of my mentors and really delving into this process of discernment, I fell upon this idea of being in service to the student body, being in service of others.
Much like Allan, my most fulfilling experiences here at Notre Dame have been those spent in service to the students. So whether it's working with the student government in the past or coordinating a network to make sure that folks could get home safely when the online transition hit last spring, it's been the most challenging and interesting and rewarding part of my Notre Dame experience to simply be in community and be in service to this community. During our sophomore year, he served as Stafford Hall Senator. And so that's where I got to see him in action in the Senate as a very thoughtful, intentional, and focused leader for his dorm community. And he continued that service, becoming Stafford Hall president. So that legacy and dedication to service is what drew me to Allan.
Whenever he sees an issue and something that concerns the student body, he's willing to do the work that it takes in order to address that. And so knowing that I have someone dedicated on my side, it was a no-brainer. So the three things that we talked about throughout our campaign is this idea of holistic health and well-being, solidarity and equity, and bridging the gap. Textbooks costs are really high. Tutoring costs are really high. Summer classes can be very expensive. And so working with the different university departments in order to address those concerns that students have, and ensuring that there's a way we can make these things more affordable for students. From there, the last thing is this idea of bridging the gap that exists here in the Notre Dame community. The biggest thing out of that we're looking forward to is these things called Students' Voice Summits, where we bring together the administration, different leaders within the administration and student body, and sitting them together and then making sure that the administration can hear the actual voice of students. There's something about ensuring that students can actually see tangible action being taken after discussion, especially in their stay here at Notre Dame. It really makes a difference.
There's a few legislative goals right off the bat of passing a resolution to encourage the inclusion of Native Studies in the Moreau curriculum, as well as continuing the reform work that I put through, that I started last term. Have been working to reform the bylaws of the entire student union, which is a Herculean task in itself, but now it's time we actually start having hard discussions about, why do we have the structures that we have, and are they serving the student body in the best way that they could? We'll be looking to create some whitelists that will include socially responsible procurement options for the student union and clubs, as well as more sustainable programming guides for the student union, so that our events, hopefully when we have events again, are much more sustainable and taking care of our common home.
You can put on, hundreds of events. You can put on hundreds of initiatives. But if students never feel like their voices matter, and like their voices are heard, that doesn't mean a thing.
The name of the game is collaboration, and whether that's making sure the student government office is a space where cabinet members, senators, hall presidents, and an average student can come along and just sit down and talk and have a real conversation about the things that are important to them and what can be done to fix it, so that we can tackle these problems collaboratively among students, and then inviting administrators, inviting the South Bend community into that same relationship.
The student body has entrusted us with this job, and we will 100% carry out our duties and our bold promises.
Allan, Matthew, thank you so much for your time today. I've been Cesar Sanchez. This is an NDTV production. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Cesar. It's great to stay updated on some of the issues that will be addressed this year. I can't wait to see the future of student government here at Notre Dame. And speaking of student leadership, here is your reminder to submit nominations for the Student Union Awards. The awards include the Michael J. Palumbo Award for a student with outstanding service and dedication to the Notre Dame Student Union, the Irish Clover Award for 2 students, faculty, staff, administrators, or alumni who exhibit exemplary service to the student body, and the Frank O'Malley Undergraduate Teaching Award for 1 professor who has demonstrated outstanding service to the Notre Dame student body. Check for an email from the Judicial Council to nominate your choices by Friday, March 19th. And juniors, we have an opportunity for you. Applications are open for the 2021 to 2022 Senior Fellows Program, through which on-campus seniors can fulfill leadership roles for specific university departments. Students admitted into the program as fellows will receive an annual $3,000 stipend for 8 to 10 hours of work each week. This is an opportunity to find mentorship along with developing expertise in different university programs. Visit studentaffairs.nd.edu for more information. Registration ends on Friday, March 19th. Now, for a change of pace, let's switch over to sports. Elise and Amanda, as usual, have us covered on all of the happenings in the athletic department. Let's hear a little bit more about how the Irish are doing and what's in store for the coming week.
Hi, Amanda Pirkowski here with the latest on Irish sports. Many Irish sports teams began the week with winter playoffs in mind. Notre Dame's men's basketball surprised Wake Forest with a comeback buzzer beater by Trey Wirtz, finishing off a spectacular 17-2 run by the Irish. The final shot came just after a great effort by ND's Comac Ryan. With time running out, Ryan blocked the Demon Deacons' shot, streaked down the court, and passed the ball off for the game-winning 3 by Trey Wirtz. Here it is. On the women's side of the ACC tournament, the Notre Dame had a setback. In a close game, the number 6 seeded women's basketball team lost in the first round to the 11th seeded Clemson, 68-63. This ACC loss may eliminate the Irish women from postseason NCAA tournament play. The NCAA will release the bracket next Monday, March 15th. Last weekend, men's Irish hockey finished their regular season by sweeping Penn State 5-2 and 7-1. ND Hockey will host the 2021 Big Ten tournament beginning this Sunday from March 14th to March 16th at the Compton Family Ice Arena. ND will most likely match up again with Penn State for the quarterfinals. Here's a clip from this week's hockey game. The 4th-ranked ND women's lacrosse team will play 2nd-ranked Syracuse this Thursday, March 11th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, March 14th at noon. Thursday's game will be streaming live on the ACC Network Extra, and Sunday's game will broadcast nationally on the ACC Television Network. Here's to Elise with more on the women's lacrosse team's performance this past weekend.
Good morning, Notre Dame. My name is Elise Dohoney.
Here is a look at the Notre Dame women's lacrosse team as they start out their 2020-2021 season. The Irish had a strong start to their season, winning their first 2 games. First, on February 13th, the Irish beat out Vanderbilt 19-5. Then, this past weekend, on March 6th, the Irish dominated in a win over Robert Morris University. Notre Dame is now ranked 4th in women's college lacrosse. 3 key players have massively contributed to Notre Dame's success: attacker Samantha Lynch, midfielder Casey Choma, and goalie Bridget Dean. Grad student Samantha Lynch came out firing in the Irish's first game against Vanderbilt. She matched her career high with 7 points in the 4th 5+ goal game of her career. After the game, the team leader said, "We've been waiting for this day for 300+ days, and it felt amazing to be back. Everyone was energized to go up against an opponent other than ourselves, and we were ready to go." Against Robert Morris University, Lynch scored 4 goals. She never fails to make it look easy. Keep a lookout this season for number 33. She's a team leader and a scoring machine. The announcers also couldn't seem to shut up about Casey Choma, a sophomore midfielder from Manorville, New York. During the first 2 games of the season, here Choma snags a pass at the top of the circle and fires a shot into the back of the net. The Vanderbilt goalie never had a chance. Choma also showed off some footwork in this goal against Robert Morris University. She was a constant threat when in shooting range. Goalies beware this season. Speaking of goalies, senior goalie Bridget Dean has been unstoppable in the first 2 games of the season. She booked 10 saves against Vanderbilt, including this block near the end of the first half. Here's another beautiful save by Dean against Robert Morris University. This past weekend, Bridget Dehan has now stopped 18 of 24 shots on goal in her first 2 games of the season. There's no better player to anchor the Irish defense. The first 2 games have also been an opportunity for some fired-up freshmen to make an impact for the first time in an Irish uniform. Freshman goalie Lily Callahan and midfielder Allie McHugh have already etched a place in the season stats. Here, Lily Callahan showed off her quick reflexes as she made her inaugural save in goal against Robert Morris University this past weekend. And here, Allie McHugh scores her first Irish goal to finish out a stunning victory over Robert Morris University. Her teammates made sure to celebrate appropriately. Congratulations, both Lily and Allie. We cannot wait to watch you on the field over the next few seasons. And that's all for me. I think it's safe to say that everyone here at NDTV is excited to see what this women's lacrosse team can do this season. I'll be here with all the updates. For ND Sunrise, I'm Elise Dohoney. Back to you, Abby.
Thank you, Elise and Amanda. It's great to hear about what's going on with the Irish. We are so proud of all of our Notre Dame teams, and we can't wait to see where the next week takes you. Hopefully, we'll all get to be in the stands cheering you on soon. Best of luck and go Irish. And lately, I have had nothing to complain about with the weather, which is saying something because sometimes I will. It has been gorgeous here, but I'm still a little bit apprehensive about winter coming back when we least expect it. I'm crossing my fingers that we get some good news and continued high temperatures. Let's hear from Chloe and Kieran on the upcoming weather.
Hi, my name is Chloe Stafford, and I'm here to give you the weather for this week. But first, let's send it to our weather correspondent, Kieran Cantwell, to see what's going on with the weather outside at this very moment.
Good morning, Notre Dame students. I think we can all agree that we've had a great past 2 weeks of weather here in South Bend. It's sunny out, the skies are blue, it's nice and clear. Whoa, scratch that. Oh my goodness, South Bend is rearing its ugly head. Quick. Urgent update, students of Notre Dame, do not make the same mistake I did. It is pouring out today. It is pouring. Look at these massive amounts of rain. And oh my goodness, the wind just took my umbrella. I don't even know what to say. Listen, if you're going outside, make sure to put on a raincoat, rain boots, layer up, do whatever you have to do. Don't make the same mistake I did. Now, let's give it back to Chloe for the rest of the week.
Thanks for that, Kieran. So just as he said, the weather today will be quite rainy with some showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. At some point of the day, there's even a 100% chance of rain, with winds up to 20 miles per hour. The high today will be 62 degrees, but we'll get to the 30s at night. Friday brings us nicer weather, with temperatures ranging from 54 to 26 degrees, and some clouds, but mostly sunny skies. We're also starting to see some more humidity, which might even reach up to 60% on Friday. On Saturday, we see some similar weather. Cloudy throughout the day with a high of 51 and a low of 31. Not as warm as some of these days we've been having in South Bend, but still nice. It should be a great day for outside activities as long as you have a light jacket. Also, be prepared for daylight savings at night. Now, on to Sunday, which is daylight savings. And yes, we unfortunately lose an hour of sleep today, but the morning should be nice with temperatures around 49 degrees. However, at night, temperatures will dip down to the low 30s, and we will start to see a mix of snow and rain, so be prepared for that. As we move into next week, Monday will be quite a messy day with a light wintry mix all day, as you can see on this radar. Deeper into the week, there are more consistent temperatures with highs in the upper 40s and lows in the 20s, so definitely colder than what we have experienced in the last week. But there also should be some cloudy skies almost every day. And in more exciting news, next Saturday is the first day of spring, something we've all been waiting for, so let's hope for some warm weather. And I'm Chloe Stafford, and for Kieran Cantwell, thank you for watching this week's Weather Report. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Chloe and Kieran. It looks like we've got a bit of a mix coming up, but nothing we tough South Bend College students can't handle. And as Chloe said, don't forget to change your clock for daylight savings on Sunday. Now we're taking it back to sports with a focus on a key member of the Notre Dame men's basketball team. Kieran will be telling us a little bit more about Njomo, a senior player. Kieran?
Thanks, guys. With the Notre Dame men's basketball team headed to the ACC tournament this week, let's take a look at the career of Irish senior forward Njomo. Njomo hails from Ontario, Canada, and he would eventually become the first Canadian player to ever start for Notre Dame. During his junior season at Salt Fleet High School, Njomo averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists while leading his squad to the regional championship. Njomo came to Notre Dame as part of a stacked 2016 class that included former Notre Dame standouts TJ Gibbs and John Mooney. He redshirted his freshman year before making his Irish debut during the 2017-2018 season. Even though he watched from the bench as a younger guy on the team, Njomo recalls the Maui Invitational Championship victory over Wichita State in 2017 as the favorite moment of his Notre Dame basketball career. Known primarily as a team glue guy and an energy spark off the bench, Njomo has stepped up his game when called upon so far in his final season, averaging a career-high 4.8 points per game on a highly efficient approach, as he is shooting 54% from the field, 39% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. His best game of the year came in mid-February against Miami, when he delivered off the bench as the starting lineup was playing without much energy. Njomo finished with 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks in the decisive win, showcasing his ability to impact all aspects of the game. Njomo played a huge part in the win over number 11 Florida State on Saturday's regular season finale. He started the game, finishing with 11 key points in the program's first win over a ranked opponent since the aforementioned game against Wichita State back in 2017. With the ACC tournament underway, let's cheer Njomo on as he looks to cap his career at Notre Dame. With NDTV, I'm Kieran Cantwell. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Kieran. It's great to learn more about these incredible athletes at our school. I'm no basketball expert, that's for sure, but that sounds like a pretty impressive career to me. We are all so grateful to be here in the studio creating student media in the midst of this difficult pandemic. This show and station wouldn't be possible without the incredibly hard work of our wonderful station manager, Anthony Rio. Lyric sat down with Anthony to learn more about his involvement with NDTV and his future aspirations. Lyric, take it away.
Good morning, ND Sunrise. My name is Lyric Medeiros, and today I'm here with a special guest who has a very special place in our hearts here at NDTV. We have Anthony Rio.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Give us your maybe Notre Dame intro.
Notre Dame intro, yeah. So I'm from Paw Paw, Michigan. The town's so nice, they named it twice.
Oh, I like that.
But I live in Balmer Hall here. I wasn't Soren, but I hit the upgrade button after last year, so now in a new hall.
Very nice.
And I'm studying management consulting with a minor in innovation and entrepreneurship. So I'm in Broza, and oh, what did I miss? Hometown?
Hometown?
Dorm.
Maybe give us your age.
My age, I'm 20.
20?
Turned 21
Still
in the
having
summer,
fun.
so
21.
I'm a young one.
Awesome. And you work at NDTV. You are the man in the studio making it all happen. So what is your official title?
My official title is Station Manager, which basically means I run the place.
Okay. Okay. What are some of the duties that you do?
Yeah, I'm in charge of helping shows get off the ground, doing a lot of planning and organizing, especially. We've grown so much over the years, so making sure that there's always enough people to work on shows, enough studio space, training people, because there's so much to learn around here.
Right.
So helping people learn those things. Strategic planning, we've went from about 6 people to 50 people now,
Wow.
just over 2 years.
Wow.
So trying to create a vision for what this place is going to be like
Yes.
in 2 years and 3 years and even like next year. So,
Absolutely, and it's grown so much. Anthony was the one who helped me create ND Sunrise. He was the man behind it all. I came up with the idea. Lori McFadden helped us put it together, and we crafted what is ND Sunrise. So it's all thanks to Anthony right here.
it's been a big team effort for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh man, so many moving pieces.
Yes.
You're out here writing scripts, and then we have reporters researching stories, so so many people involved.
Yes, and you do a big side of production here at NDTV. So how was that, learning how to operate the switchboard, to use the teleprompter? What was that like?
Yeah, so that was my freshman year. I came into a studio tour. I loved the place. It's like a legit TV studio, so what's not to love?
It is. What gets better than this?
Yeah, and I showed up to the first episode of the year, which was a filming of Shamrock Sports, a show that's still going on, which is exciting. And I ran the teleprompter. I just walked in the door. They said, here's how you run the teleprompter. Spin this dial here. And then the next time I showed up, they had me running a camera. They're like, this is how you run a camera.
The full camera?
Yeah, like it's actually pretty easy to learn. If anyone's interested and they want to get involved with NDTV, literally you just show up and we can teach you something right there on the spot. But then some of the more technical stuff, our old station manager, shout out to Johnny Soper, kind of took me under his wing a little bit and showed me more technical things like running the switchboard or how we get shows to show up on Channel 57 around campus, that sort of thing. So my freshman year was such a learning experience here and figuring everything out.
And then you moved, did you apply for the role that you're in now?
I did after my freshman year, which is kind of funny. I wrote a long paragraph about why age shouldn't matter when considering the role. I didn't end up getting it, but I was kind of in a number 2 capacity, and then after last year, I applied again, and I got the position.
There you go.
And then we had this crazy year, so.
Yes. There you go. You apply one year, maybe not get it for the first year, and then you apply again and you get it. So, you know, it's all about trying, right?
I guess, yeah.
Trying again. We know this year looks different in many different ways. How does it look different due to the pandemic in NDTV?
Yeah. We're very resilient. I'm so proud of us and the people that we have here. But just, I mean, look at us. We're distanced. We're able to be without masks on air, which is a nice broadcaster's exception.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that we can do. Playing with the equipment that we have to figure out creative ways to put shows on if we want 3 people on set, but we don't quite have the distance how we used to.
Right.
Ways to still produce content even when there's university pauses in place and student groups aren't allowed to meet in person.
Yes.
So we've had to be really creative in those ways, but it's still really cool to keep kind of the core experience of NDTV similar, where you come in on a show day, you have a show on air, you can be broadcasting without a mask, 2 or 3 people on set, and you have the frenzy of show day where there's so many problems and we're just solving them left and right, being split
running
in 3
around
different
trying
directions.
to get the script in place.
Oh man, exactly. You know how it is.
We know how it is, but we bring it all together, and the spirit, at least, at NDTV is still here, right?
Yeah.
The spirit of wanting to be here and wanting to pursue your passion that is television. And you really help so many people like me bring that to life, so we couldn't be more thankful for that.
Thank you.
You've had all of this experience working in a studio, working in a student studio. Do you think this is something you want to do in the future?
I get asked that question a lot, and I always respond, and it's more of a hobby for me. I wanted to get involved in different things when I went to Notre Dame because there's so much that you can do here that you can't do at your good old average Papa High School.
Yes.
there's just so many more resources here and ways to get involved. So NDTV was one of those unique things that I found and I just fell in love with. And it's just been a great community and group of people to lean on, and friends. But yeah, for a career, I'm looking more into small business consulting. I think I love working with organizations and helping them grow and help them finding ways that they can impact people and influence people, which being on the cutting edge of the media industry could be a possibility, working somewhere like Netflix or have you seen like Now This News? They do such creative and innovative things with the way they deliver content. So working for a company like that, I guess, is in the picture. More traditional media is perhaps less in the picture, but oh man, so many options and possibilities.
Yes, and you still, all of these skills that you've acquired working at NDTV will benefit you in the future. You know, you're still going to be communicating with people. So, I mean, NDTV is with you till the end, I guess. Yeah. So, amidst this pandemic, there have been a lot of changes, and we've talked about some of those changes. But do you think NDTV will come out stronger out of this, or do you think student media has still been thriving throughout the pandemic, or has it been more just put to the side? We'll do this after the pandemic is over.
I think it's tough for the media industry in general during the pandemic because the news isn't always the best thing for your well-being during a pandemic. You always turn on the news and you hear, oh, this is the number of COVID deaths in the United States.
Right.
And this is the number of hospitalizations, and it's going to be a bleak future. Those are the kinds of things that people hear.
Right.
So I think it's tough for the media industry in an environment like that. But things are on the up and up. We have vaccines rolling out soon. Soon people will be able to turn on the news and COVID won't be the leading story. It'll be whatever else is going on.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
So I think we're gonna emerge stronger. And evidenced by the amount that we've grown during a pandemic, it's kind of crazy.
I
So
agree.
surprising.
Having a morning show, still continuing Shamrock Sports during this pandemic, making it possible, has been a dream. I mean, to be able to do something like this while we're going through something that can be so restricting is amazing, and it's because of you. So thank you so much, Anthony, for being here today. I appreciate you taking your time to interview with me. We finally get to give some credit to the guy working behind the scenes, behind the curtain, operating
Thank you for
everything.
having me. I was so honored. I was like, oh, you want to interview me? What the heck?
Absolutely. This is the man in the studio, everyone. So this is Anthony Rio, and we're reporting to you from ND Sunrise. Thank you, Anthony, for being here today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Abby.
Great job on that interview, Lyric. Anthony truly is the man in the studio. If you would like to learn more about how student media leaders are operating during COVID-19, you can go to the Notre Dame journalism page at ND_JED or search for our hashtag #SupportStudentMedia. Let's all work together to support student media here at Notre Dame. Lastly, we'd like to update you all on some of our antics here at NDTV. We are always looking for more members to add to our ND Sunrise team, so if you're interested in joining, scan this QR code right here on the screen. Oh, it's right over here. We would love to have you. Also, we are currently working on our NDTV Empathy Project, where we have students anonymously sharing personal moments to be read on camera. Through this project, we're hoping to raise the levels of compassion and understanding here on campus. If you'd like to help us out, please scan this QR code. All responses are appreciated and will remain completely confidential. And that brings us to the end of today's morning news. If you happen to miss our broadcast, or if you just love it so much that you want to see it again, you can always find us on Notre Dame Television YouTube channel under ND Sunrise. There you can watch the full episode with all of the information you need to stay updated. As for our airing times, we are here on Channel 57 every Tuesday and Thursday morning. That's it for this episode of ND Sunrise. I'm Abby Urban, and from all of us here in the studio, we wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, and go Irish!